We have lots of crazy conversations, but this time you're invited. You're listening to your favorite mother-daughter duo, the Crozier Girls. Every time we log on, I think this is it. This is going to be the time that like automatically everything is perfect.
And so far it has not been.
Yep.
But today was pretty good though. I just had to turn on the headphones. That was the only technological issue. So if we can get through this whole thing without it booting me off. Hi.
Hi, I miss you.
I know, I miss you too. It's been kind of a crazy week around here.
I know. How are you feeling? How's your arm doing? You need to update me and the listeners.
So, yeah, I had the little surgery. There's just such a bad echo today. Oh, let me go in here and click echo cancellation and see if that helps. Oh, it can't be changed while recording. Okay, I'll do it after.
Mine is on. Echo cancellation is on for mine.
I know, but for whatever reason. Anyway, yeah, I had a little surgery on Friday. See my brace?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to take it off so you can see I feel like the brace actually makes it hurt worse because it's tight kind of on the incision. Mm-hmm. And there's a little bandage over the incision, but yeah, I have to kind of keep it up. So if you see me like doing this, it's supposed to be like over my heart, you know.
You're raising your hand. My turn to talk.
I'm raising my hand and like moving my fingers in a really weird, slow, calculated way. But
wait,
anyway,
why do you need to have a brace if you have an incision? Like,
because the brace is supposed to help keep me from like moving it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's right on my wrist. And so, I mean, think how often you use your wrist for literally everything. And actually, it's good that I have the brace on because yesterday I took it off and I was sitting in my chair and I had it propped on some pillows and I pulled my arm down to do something and the pillow started to fall and I went to grab it and with my left wrist and it hurt really, really, really bad. So I was like, goodness. Yeah, I guess I need to keep the brace on at least for a little bit. I do have a funny story to tell you about that.
Okay, sure.
So, you know, you go in, they put you to sleep, you have the surgery, and then you're in the room where they're like trying to wake you up. So like I hear this guy saying, Melanie, you know, some random voice. And I was like, you know, wait, are they already, he was like, okay, it's all done. I'm you know, it's weird because you're on this table and the lady was like, okay, well, I'm just going to give you a little bit of medicine here in your IV to get you a little bit sleepy. And then next thing you know, you hear this voice, Melanie. So you don't know if they've done it yet or not. It's like,
right.
Have I just like dozed off while they're prepping me or what? So anyway, it was like, okay, it's done. So the whole process of trying to, you know, wake up, he's going over everything with me and, you know, I'm out of it. It's like, I don't understand why they go over all the post-op stuff with you.
I feel like that shouldn't be allowed. Like you need to have someone else in there.
Well, they also told Dad, but I didn't know that, you know.
Okay.
I mean, I figured they would, but usually when you have a procedure, once you're awake, they let your, you know, whoever's driving you home, they let that person come back into the recovery room with you. But they didn't do that this time. And so I'm laying here on this table, and the guy's going over everything with me, and it's like a middle-aged man nurse, right? And so then he was like, all right, well, do you think you know, can get dressed? And I was like, sure. And again, like, there's no one there to help me. And he says, I'm just going to turn my back to you. Here's your bag of clothes. I'm going to turn.
No, I'm sorry, leave the room? Absolutely not.
He said, I'm going to turn my back to you and you get dressed. And if you need any help, just let me know. And he said, I know. He said, and don't worry, I've seen it all. And if I haven't, I'd like to.
Mom, never go back there ever again. Like, you're filing for harassment. Like, that is, what?
He said, if I haven't, I'd like to. When I told Dad was like, whoa, what? Are you kidding me? I was like, no, I am not kidding you.
So did he stand there while you put your clothes on?
Yeah, his back to me. I know, it was weird.
That is not okay. That is
weird.
breaking some kind of code. If you're a nurse or a doctor, comment down below what code that's breaking. I don't know anything about this.
It was
Oh my gosh.
I've never had anything like that. Now, I will say it was just, the surgery was just on my wrist. So I didn't have to take off undergarments if we're going to.
It doesn't matter. It's not like you want him to see you in your undergarments.
No, especially not this nasty looking guy. Not anybody except Dad, but still, I mean.
But if he was good looking, it might be better, is what you're saying.
It was weird. I've never had that before. I mean, even when I had my colonoscopy, it was like, okay, we're going to go get your husband, and then that way if you need help getting dressed or whatever.
Yeah. Well, even if you're like at the doctor and the woman nurse practitioner is there checking you, she leaves the room for you to change and put your clothes back on and take that nightgown off. Like, and it's a woman. Like, what? I'm upset about this.
I know. Your dad was like, wait, he said what? I mean, I told him as soon as we got in the car, I was like out of it, but I was like, hey, you know what he said to me? Dad probably thought I was crazy, but he literally did. So
I believe you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're on meds, but
if I haven't seen it, I've seen it all, but if I haven't, I'd like to. I was like, yeah, it was highly inappropriate, I felt like. So
it was. You don't have to go back to him for a checkup or anything.
No. This was just at the surgery center.
Oh,
this was just like the nurse at the surgery. This wasn't like the doctor or anything. So
okay.
Anyway.
Goodness gracious, that's an interesting story to start the podcast off on.
I know. It was kind of crazy, but anyway.
Wow.
Then I got home and I took a nice long nap, and then I woke up and I took another nap. Anyway, pretty much slept all day Friday. I was so sleepy. They had to give me a lot of medicine. Oh, that's the other thing, is this guy wasn't like, okay, yeah, you're in a little bit of pain. He was like, yeah, I'll give you fentanyl. Here's some fentanyl. Okay, I'll give you some more. And then, okay, I'll give you Percocet. Like, he was like giving me all this medicine. He gave me so much medicine. Yeah.
What is the surgery center? Like, was it a legit place? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, it is. It's in Gainesville. There are a lot of people in there. So, anyway. And when in the pre-op room, it's not a room. You're just in this little cubby with curtains. So, literally, I know what the people on either side of me, what kind of surgery they're having, because I laid there. Apparently, my doctor was late, because I heard the nurses, when I first got in there, they were like, Dr. So-and-so, I'm not going to call him out on the pod, just in case. But they were like, Dr. So-and-so's running. Yeah. I mean, if he does, oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. But they're like, Dr. So-and-so is, running late. And the one nurse was like, oh, it's going to make this day even crazier. Oh, and I didn't even tell you about, look at the bruise. I'm like, can you see the bruise on my hand?
Yeah. On your other hand?
Yeah. So here's the other story. The nurse doing my pre-op was putting in my IV, and I was like, oh, you shouldn't have any problems. Everybody always tells me I have really good veins. And so I kind of held my arm out, and she was like, well, they like us, all the doctors really like us to do it in your hand. And I was like, oh, okay, well, no problem. I've got good veins there. She said, yeah, I don't like doing it in hands. And I was just, all of a sudden, I was like, great. She's not going to be able to get it in, and she's going to blow my vein. So she's trying to get the IV in, and already it was going bad. She was like, oh, I'm not getting any, whatever. I don't know what they look for.
She shouldn't have started with that. Like, she should have given you no reason to doubt her. Even if she was nervous, she should not have told you that she was nervous.
Because once she said that, then I was like, great, she can't do it in my hands. She can't do it in hands. She's nervous about this. So she's doing it, and already it was going bad. And then the nurse in the cubby beside me starts wheeling her patient out and nails my bed with her bed. And so right when the girl is trying to do my IV, knocks my bed. And I was like, I literally gasped. And the nurse over there felt terrible. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Right when you're doing an IV. And my nurse goes, literally, and I'm going to need another whatever pack. And that other nurse was like, I'm so sorry. Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And so that's why it's so bruised, because then, yeah, they had to put it in my arm.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. It wasn't an A-plus performance by the Gainesville Surgery Center.
No.
Not going to lie. Anyway, so it was an interesting experience, but I made it out okay,
Man,
So anyway,
that's crazy.
and I'm doing fine. It's just hard to do stuff. Like, I wish you were here because the other night I was trying to wash my face and, I always pull my hair back in a ponytail and put on a little headband thing to keep my hair on my face so that my hair doesn't fall in my face while I'm washing it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I couldn't get my hair in the ponytail because, that takes 2 hands. I don't know if you realize that, but it does. So I tried to get Dad to do it, and he was like, I don't understand. And so I was like, okay. I took my fingers, and I tried to show him how to wrap the ponytail thing. And he was like, okay, let me try. It was a disaster. I was like, never mind. Just put those clips in there to hold my hair back. And then even yesterday, I was out by the pool for a little bit, and I was like, I can't get all sweaty because I can't wash my hair. Who's going to dry my hair for church in the morning? Like, no one. But if you were here, you could have dried it for me and probably styled it a little bit. But anyway, so
I haven't dried my own hair with a hairdryer in like 7 years. So
yeah, but you could dry mine better than Dad.
Yeah,
so that's why it's pulled back in a clip because I couldn't really fix it. Couldn't do anything with it. So those are my stories.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. I still cannot get over what that doctor said to you. That's insane.
I know what the guy said to me. I wish I'd gotten his name because I bet somebody we know knows him. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, sure. Everyone in Gainesville knows each other.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, guess where Micah went yesterday?
Where?
Gary Fogarty.
Oh, poor Micah. Is he okay? Like, did he have to take the whole day to recover?
He seemed to handle it well. So
I had to just like detox after those ACT prep. It was just so intense, and he's like kind of a scary guy. And just
guess what? Even better. Micah was the only one there for a while, and then one other girl showed up.
No. Oh, that's awful. No. I always preferred when I did like the group sessions. Oh my goodness.
Well, that's what it was a group session, but for whatever reason, 8:45 on a Saturday morning is not a very popular time.
He's he got my ACT score up so much, but I hated going there because it was like a long drive.
It's a long drive, and it was just
a
long session. I mean, it's a long time that you're there. But no, Micah said it was very helpful. He learned a lot, and he thinks it's going to be really helpful. And he only has like 3 weeks that he's doing it until he takes the ACT again. So,
okay, good.
Yeah, but I thought you'd appreciate that Gary's still going strong.
Good old Gary.
Good old Gary Fogarty. So
I don't think there's very few times in my life where I'm like, man, my brain hurts. Like, I can't think about anything for a little while. But after those ACT prep sessions, I was like, my brain hurts. I don't know what's up and what's down anymore.
Yeah.
So,
well, listen, that's good.
But they work.
They do work. I highly recommend him. If anyone needs an ACT prep coach, Gary Fogarty is the best. So, anyway.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's all that's been going on around here. Can't think of really anything else.
Yeah. Well, you're coming back to Croatia.
I mean, I'm coming back.
This is a big announcement.
Big announcement. So, yep, I can't wait. The grandparents wanted to come, and they wouldn't have come without like someone going with them, and so I said, well, I guess I'll volunteer. Anyway, so we're coming in August, and that'll be fun. And then a few weeks after we leave, about a month, you'll be home.
Yeah.
Crazy. And you had a visitor this week. How was your week with Alexandra?
It was so good. It was so fun. And she's awesome because she's a good traveler, and she found places to go, things to do that I didn't even know existed in Zagreb. Like, she found some like really cool museums, and she was like, you have to go here. She was so good at doing things while I had to work. And then when I wasn't working, we hung out and we did some things that I hadn't done before, and it was so fun. And then yesterday we went to Opatia, which is just a town on the coast that's pretty close to Zagreb. It was like 2 hours away. Okay. It took us a little longer going there because there was traffic, because everybody goes to the coast on the weekends in the summer. All the city people there.
If I lived in Zagreb and was that close to those beautiful beaches, that's what I'd be doing every Saturday too. So.
Yep. So yeah, but it was so fun. It was the first time that I've been able to actually get in the water and swim while I've been here, because every time I've been to the coast before this, it was too cold. And even still, the water was so cold yesterday. It kind of shocked me at first, but then I swam around. I swam some laps. I swam really far out where they had the buoys out in the bay area that we were at. And
is the water clear? Like you can see to the bottom? It's really pretty.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's pretty clear. Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably more clear if you go out to an island or something. We were just at a public beach, and there were like kind of boats around, which stir up the bottom of the sea. I assume. I don't really know how the ocean works, but sounds nice to me. But yeah, so it was still very clear, way more clear than, the Atlantic Ocean or anything, but it wasn't like as clear as I think some of the beaches,
the islands.
That
okay.
makes sense. Yeah, I just feel like the islands are probably more clear. But
so at this point, you've been to quite a few of the coastal towns. Do they all have a different feel to them?
Sort of
kind of vibe or
vibe.
Yeah. Energy, isn't that what the children say? Has its own energy.
What energy are we bringing to the function?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
No, I love it. I use that all the time.
Aura. That's what the kids say too now. Like,
okay, aura. Aura is more like younger Gen Z. Like, I don't say aura. That's like Micah's age demographic. Yeah. I don't say that, but that's yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah, so some of them, I feel like it's by region. It's not like every single town is completely different. But like when you guys were here, we went to some towns in Istria, on the Istrian Peninsula, which is very Italian. The buildings are colorful, like Venetian looking. And I would say Opatia was because it's almost on the peninsula. Like it basically is. It's kind of like at the cusp of it. So it looked very similar, but also still looked kind of Dalmatian, which is what the rest of the coast looks like that isn't on that peninsula. So I like less Italian and more kind of like Greece, like also Italian a little bit, but I don't know how else to explain it.
Were the buildings colorful there, or were they like mostly white?
No, the buildings were colorful. Yeah.
Okay.
So very colorful. So that's why I was like, it's kind of Venetian, but.
And from the size standpoint, was Opatia comparing size to Ravine? What?
I think it's a little smaller, different kind of city. I feel like all of Ravine was very old town, cobblestone, walking up hills through the tiny cobblestone pebbled streets with those Venetian buildings, whereas Opatia was more of just a normal town with some really pretty Venetian buildings, but it wasn't as, it's very old. It still looked old. Obviously it is, but
okay.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing a bad job of explaining this, but I don't know.
You got to do the best you can. Well, that sounds good. It looked like a beautiful town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so cute. We found this little Istrian restaurant that was just very similar to like the food that, we ate in Ravine and Kula and all those places. But the waiter, he told us, he was like, this is a family owned place for hundreds of years, and we grow our own olive oil, and it was like just so good, and like freshly baked bread. Like it was so good. I mean, yeah, seafood pasta, and Alexandra had seafood risotto, and it was just so good. So yeah.
That's awesome. Very good. Okay. Well, cool. And you guys found a webcam, or shall I say we found a webcam and saw you on it. So that was fun. And then you and Alexandra just drove back, and then she flew out, this morning?
Yep, she flew out this morning. She's in the air right now on the way back to the States. So,
good. That was so sweet of her to come and visit you. I know all your friends that are coming. And you have one more visitor coming.
Yes.
Also.
Maybe.
Okay.
Well, I just had a funny story from when Alexandra was here that I wanted to tell you.
Okay.
So some people who listen to this podcast may know this. Maybe two of my friends know this. Like all our family knows. But I have this doll that I sleep with that I've had since I was like 1 year old, right, Mom?
9 months.
Okay, 9 months. So like she's been in the family longer than McKinney. Like she's part of the family. And I guess when I was a kid, I named her Doll Doll. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so I sleep with her every night. She's obviously here with me in Zagreb. Like obviously.
I feel like you should have been taking her around like Flat Stanley and like taking pictures. Taking pictures of her at all these different places.
Sending pictures to our family. Like, Doll Doll's in Germany this weekend. Like,
so true. That would have been so good. I wish we thought of this sooner.
I know. That's so funny.
You could have started like an Instagram page for Doll Doll.
Well, I wouldn't want to because like she doesn't look good.
No,
so,
bless her heart. She's been used. She's been well loved.
Anyways, so yeah, I have this doll. I truly take her everywhere. Like if I'm going on a week vacation, I don't bring her, but she came with me to college. She's here with me. I sleep with her every night. So, but she does look pretty worn. Her face is torn. The fabric is torn a little bit, and her hair is completely gone because I used to play with it so much when I was a kid. So
right. So that's how Doll Doll started. So here's how this whole doll came to be. When you were a baby and I would be nursing you, you would reach up and play with my hair like you're doing with your own right now.
As I'm literally doing with my own right now. It's a soothing thing.
It was obviously soothing to you. And so I thought I should get her a doll that has real feeling hair that she can play with. And we tried a few, but you never really latched onto them. And then Dad and I were in Gatlinburg one weekend and for our anniversary, and we found this little hand-sewn, all-fabric doll with real hair, and I brought her home, and from that moment on, it was like love at first sight. You and Doll Doll have been BFFs ever since. So you played with her hair a lot, and yeah, now it's gone. And I have pieces of it that I've kept.
Yeah, I know.
Of her hair.
It's so sad her hair is gone because I loved her hair.
I know. Yeah. But we do have the new Doll Doll too, because many, many, many years later, I decided to try to find. All three of my kids have their special thing that they slept with, or security blanket type thing when they were kids. Babies.
I'm the only one who still sleeps with mine. Everyone should know.
The boys have put theirs away, but Rebekah does still sleep with hers. But anyway, years later, I decided to try to find the exact same thing so that someday I could put them in a shadow box, like Doll Doll after she'd been loved, and then Doll Doll what she looked like brand new. So we have the brand new Doll Doll. Maybe we could put a picture of them up on the Instagram page.
Yeah. I love that idea, except that Doll Doll is not going in a shadow box until I literally die. She will be in the nursing home with me. So I guess my kids will put the shadow box together, but
we'll make sure they know where the new Doll Doll is so they can shadow box it for you.
Okay. After
for themselves. They won't care.
Yeah, they probably don't care.
Actually, just have them bury you with Doll Doll because otherwise they're just going to throw her in the trash. They are not going to care about Doll Doll.
That's so true.
Right. Okay, so back to Doll Doll.
Anyways, so I have this doll. Okay. So it's not like I'm hiding my doll that I sleep with from my friends, but I'm not going to be like, by the way, Alexandra, I sleep with this doll. And Alexandra has spent nights with me before. She used to sleep over in my apartment in Birmingham all the time. She's been to Big Canoe, but I guess she just never noticed that I have this doll in the bed with me. So anyways, and so we had been here. I mean, she'd been here for 5 days already. And Doll Doll was just sitting on my bed one day and she goes, it's so funny. And I know she didn't mean it this way. Alexandra's the kindest person in the entire world.
She's so sweet.
But she goes, Rebekah, what is this thing on your bed? She said it. I was such a valid question.
Yeah, because also we need to tell the pod listeners, Doll Doll came with a very pretty black velvet dress with a bow and lace trim. But Doll Doll no longer wears that. Doll Doll wears a
nightgown.
Velvet nightgown that you and Gran made for her.
We sewed for her.
You sewed for her years and years ago. So it's The whole thing is pretty ratty looking at this point.
Yes. I mean, she looks perfect to me, but yes, she is ratty.
Poor Alexandra. She was probably like, what in the world?
And she didn't even say it. She wasn't like, what is this? But it was just funny to me. And obviously she didn't mean it that way. When I explained to her, like, doll, she was like, oh my gosh, like, that's so sweet. No, I love that. Like, she was like, oh my gosh, that's great.
Right.
And she was like, how have I not noticed this? I was like, I don't know. I think she has been here all week. So anyways, I just thought that was so funny. And I had to tell you, she was like, what? Just the way she worded it. What is this thing on your bed?
And she's so sweet. I can just hear her voice. That is so funny. Oh man. Yeah, we'll have to put a picture of Doll up on the Instagram. I had a funny situation happen yesterday when I was out at the pool. So you know how I don't like birds, right? And you know how I'm pretty good about if I see a bird nest forming, I get out Dad's leaf blower and I blow it down,
Poor bird nest.
Before, sometimes it has eggs in it, but I usually get it before there's actual hatched eggs, like before there's birds. Well, I have not been out by the pool in a long time, and so I was out there yesterday, and I kept hearing this noise over the door where we keep the towels in that closet. And I look up, and there's like a bunch of pine straw and stuff, and so I was like, oh my goodness, there's a bird nest up there, and obviously there's baby birds in it because you can hear them making a racket. And so this mama bird keeps flying over, bringing them worms, bringing them crickets. I watched this whole thing, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just leave them because there's actual birds in there. Well, it got really hot. It's so hot here, by the way. I mean, it got so hot really quickly, kind of overnight. And so I decided I was hot, so I wanted to just go up underneath the deck where it's shady, and I turned on the ceiling fans that are down there. And so I'm sitting there reading my book when all of a sudden I hear a thud, and Mama Bird just lands on the concrete, like in front of me.
Oh my gosh.
So Mama Bird obviously hit the ceiling fan, and I mean, the feathers were flying down over me, and she's laying there. And so I'm like, Robbie, kind of freaking out. He comes out there, and he's like, what should I do? Should I just go drown her in the creek? Like, what do I do with her? She's obviously injured. And I'm like, I don't know. But, I mean, if we'd left her on the concrete, she would have fried. I mean, it's so hot. So Dad got a glove and picked her up and took her and put her in the shade, like in the shady area to the side of the driveway. And so I was like, well, this is just great. We've got an injured mama bird, and now we've got orphan baby birds. Aww. And they're just making their noise. And when I was sitting there, there was another bird that kept flying over with like crickets and stuff in her mouth, or its mouth. I don't know. But it didn't leave the items for the birds. Like, it flew off with them. So I don't know if it's
selfish.
Yeah, I don't know if it's taunting them, like, haha, I can get food, but I'm not going to give you any. I don't know what's happening.
That's so mean.
I don't know what to do about these baby birds, but I don't know.
That's so sad. They can't get food. What are they going to do?
I mean, I guess they're going to die. I don't know. Dad said I should go dig up some dirt and try to find some worms to put up there, but I'm not doing that. That's taking it a little far for me.
Yeah.
So
that's so sad.
We're just gonna have to let survival of the fittest, do its job. So
yeah,
maybe another bird will like adopt them. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Well, what about that mean bird? Why is he not adopting them?
I don't know. Maybe he just was scared because we were out there. Plus, Luna kept getting in the one of the chairs and like barking up there because she can hear the birds.
Problem. Yeah.
So hopefully when everybody was inside, the other bird was bringing them food. I don't know. I have no idea. So anyway, so we're pro-adoption around here. So I really hope some sweet bird out there will adopt
pro-adoption, whether it's human adoption or bird adoption.
That's right. So some bird needs to adopt these little orphan babies. No. Well, what else is going on in your world?
Well, I wanted to tell you about my new business idea that I had. You have to tell me if it's a good idea or not.
You didn't
if
give
it's
me
a bad
details.
No, I know. If it's a bad idea, you can cut this out of the podcast.
Okay.
But like, if you're like, Rebekah, that's stupid. Like, I don't want to sound stupid on the pod, you know?
Okay. No, if it's stupid, I'll leave it in because that makes for good content.
Well, it's not like stupid. It's just like, okay. So, okay, I feel like I could be a really good travel agent. And I feel like it would be really cool if there was a company or organization or something that organized trips for young people, not young people my age, but like middle schoolers and high schoolers, I don't know, up until the age of 20 or something, to introduce kids to other cultures and like travel and stuff, because I feel like that's a really necessary experience for kids to have to broaden their minds and widen their perspectives. And I could organize groups and do it to make it affordable for the average middle-class American family, to afford, okay, kids, like, and it's like a field trip, but it's not with school, and I'm in charge, and I'm the travel person, and it's mentoring kids, but it's through travel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds to me like you just want to be in charge of a bunch of people's vacations.
Well, kidding. That too, but like I also want to like do good in the world,
I think it's a good idea. I think it would be hard. I think it would be hard to get off the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like any new business idea is hard to get off the ground, for sure.
No, I know. Yeah. I just think it would be tricky because usually people are really particular about their vacations. And so
they're particular about their vacations, yet they hire travel agents all the time. So I'm thinking people who don't travel a lot. You would never have done anything like this because you and Dad like know how to travel. You've been places, you know what to do. But a lot of families have no idea. They've never been out of the country. They don't know anything about other countries. They think it's unattainable. It's too expensive. It's too much hassle. It's like, we don't know what to do. We don't know where to go. It's too much research. Like all these excuses that are like valid, but also I could do them for you. Basically, I guess I do just want to be a travel agent. Maybe that's what I'm saying right now.
Well, I was going to say, how is that different from just any other travel agent?
Well, because I was thinking about just like all of my friends who have told me, friends my age, I never thought I would leave the country. Like I don't know. Alexandra's like, I love doing this. Like when I studied abroad 2 years ago, like I love traveling. She was like, I just love this. And it's just so good for people to do before they like, I don't know, just like settle down and have a family and like they can't go anywhere for a little while, Right. But so, I don't know. I just like want people my age to like do this more. Yeah. I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, I think it makes sense. I definitely agree that I think traveling to different cultures is very important, and it helps you realize two things. Number one, how big the world is and how much there is to see that's different from your life and your world. But also, number two, how small the world is and how really at the end of the day,
everyone's the same.
Everyone's the same. Everyone is looking for the same things. And, at the core of who we are, we're worshipers and we're looking for something or someone to worship. And as believers in Jesus, obviously we have found something worthy of our worship. But a lot of people, are still searching for that. And so when you travel, you just realize we're all just really the same at the core. And that Christ came for all these different cultures and all these different people groups. And so there's just a lot to gain from traveling. Obviously, you don't have to convince me. I'm a big fan of travel.
Oh, I know. And you guys like prioritized it with us when we were kids. You took me on a mission trip to Romania when I was 12, and then McKinney went to Peru, and Micah's been to Kenya now. So, which those are all mission trips. It's different than just a trip, but it's all the same, and I think one of the really valuable things about doing that when you are in those impressionable years is obviously it's fun. There's so many cool things to do and see, and even with mission trips, obviously the goal is to, share the gospel and stuff. But I think another goal of mission trips for kids or just traveling for younger people who are in these impressionable years should be to broaden their minds and just exactly what you just said, like, to see other parts of the world and realize my experience is not the experience. And other people are going through similar things, but also very different things, and have different challenges, but also some of the same challenges. And like,
Right.
Some people don't eat the same food as me, you know, just very simple things that I feel like we grow up thinking like, oh, the way I grew up in my family is just how everybody lives. And like, that's not true. So
yeah.
Anyways, I think that's so important.
To me, it's one of the rare experiences in life where you see we are so different, but we're so much alike, and it's both. Mm-hmm. And so just being able to experience those differences and realize like, oh, mm-hmm. well, this is how my family does it, but it's not wrong if someone else does things differently. And, you know, because other cultures do things so much differently. I mean, we've talked about a lot of that here in Croatia, how just there's like cultural things that are different, like the way they are so relational over coffee as opposed to rushing. I mean, their lives are much slower paced than ours. Mm-hmm. And that's a really good thing. Like, I feel like they're getting it right in that. And here we're just rushing from one thing to the next and missing out on those little moments that maybe in other parts of the world, those little moments are really all they have. And so they appreciate them so much more. So,
I remember, when I was in Kenya the second time, I like really got to know this girl who is around my age and just spent a lot of time with her. And she grew up very different from me, like doesn't know her parents, grew up in an orphanage, like grew up walking for water, is only able to go to college because, you know, an American family was sponsoring her, you know, that kind of thing. And so, but we were in one of the bedrooms in the house and we were just both listening to Taylor Swift together and just like pop songs. And we were just talking about normal, you know, 20-year-old girl things. And I was like, we're just girls. We grew up differently, but like, we're just girls. And we just want to listen to fun music and talk about, you know, random things. And it was just this moment of like, we're the same. We have the same problems, you know, we think about the same things. Like, does this boy like me? You know, like all those normal girl things that you think about and want to talk about with your friends. And yet we grew up so differently. She has experiences I can never, ever relate to or even imagine. So I just think that's so cool.
Yeah, so. I agree. I think the, you know, traveling is great. I think the bigger benefit, and it's something we did with all three of you, is just doing a mission trip, especially in those middle school years when it seems like in middle school, a lot of kids start to get a little wrapped up in themselves and the world is centered around me, right? That seems to be common in the middle school years. And so it's just a good time to get you out of your environment and put you in a place where you realize, number one, we have been, by God's grace, we have just been so blessed here that we have heard the gospel all our lives, that we have the Bible in our language, because you and I know how many places and people groups still do not.
Mm-hmm. And it's not something to feel guilty about that we are so blessed and other people may not have been or, you know, grew up differently. Like, not something to feel guilty about because I have felt guilty about that before, but it's just something to thank God for and like thank him for, you know, the blessings that we have. Anyways, Keep going.
Yeah, no, but I think it's just good to get you out of your environment and put you in a place where you just have shared experiences with people that are vastly different from you. So I love that. So, well, keep pondering it. You never know.
Anyways, yeah. Basically, if you're going on a trip anytime soon and like want a travel agent, if you want a discounted travel agent guide, especially if you're going to Europe, hit me up. Let me know because I can help you out.
That's true. That's true. It's like you talk, and then when I wake up 6 hours later, I respond, and you know. So.
Yes.
All right. Well, coming up this week, I have physical therapy for my foot because don't forget, while my arm is in a brace, my foot is still in a boot. So Dad said, you look like you're in a car accident or something. Great.
Is it because it's the left foot?
No, it's the right foot, left wrist.
Left wrist, yeah.
And then my right hand is all bruised up.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a mess. So anyway.
Come up with a cool story to tell people.
I know, that's what Micah said. He said I should come up with some cool story. So yeah, I've got physical therapy this week, and we're having some friends over for dinner. Oh, did I tell you we went to trivia Thursday night in downtown Flowery Branch? Remember when we did that Gilmore Girls trivia?
Yeah.
So they do it with trivia every Thursday night. So we went with the Jenkins, and Jarrett came, and the Harmons, and we went for pizza and trivia Thursday night, and it was
That's
fun.
so fun. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. So that was fun. Oh, here's a crazy story. So, it was Thursday was Juneteenth, and Dad has Juneteenth off now. His company for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. A lot of companies are off now for Juneteenth. Anyway, so Dad was off. We went, and it was 4 different rounds of trivia, and each round was a different category. So one was movies, one was baseball, one was astronomy, and
that doesn't fit the movies and baseball comment. No one knows anything about astronomy.
No,
why is that?
Exactly.
Okay.
And the last one was civil rights stuff, because I guess for Juneteenth.
Okay.
So we're answering this question. Well, no. First of all, we hadn't even started, and the guy that runs the trivia, Rebekah, he literally says in the microphone, "You guys better be glad that the 2 black people that were here left, because otherwise all of y'all would lose."
Whoa!
He said it 3 times, and we were just like,
that's some kind of weird racism there.
I know.
What is that supposed to mean? I don't understand that. Okay.
I don't know.
Goodness gracious.
It was wild. We all were looking at each other like, the first time he said it, we were like, wait, did he say that?
Was it the same guy who ran our Gilmore Girls trivia? Okay, I literally can picture him in my head right now.
Yes, he's an interesting fella.
Yep.
But then he said it 2 other times. Like, when it got very quiet in there, he said it into the mic, and we were all just like, "I'm not sure you should be saying that." It was, it was crazy.
Oh my goodness.
People don't know when to. Well, we don't either. You and I don't know when to keep our mouth shut either. So.
Maybe we do better at it than
that
guy, or the guy that was doing your wrist. So
my nurse, yeah, that's true. My weird nurse, yeah. Anyway, so that's what we did last week. It was fun. I don't have it. There's nothing like super major this week going on. How about for you?
Well, I might go to Germany this weekend. So. Okay. Yeah, I think I might. But there's this is so random, but I'm like, I might as well. But okay, so there's this like orchestral movement, I guess is what it's called. I don't know a ton about orchestra stuff. But Libby doesn't listen to this podcast, so it's okay. But anyways, but there's like, okay, so there's this composer that I love, Gustav Holst, and he wrote The Planets, which is like, it's like 6 different movements in I don't know the terminology. I'm making myself sound dumb. But anyways, I love it. I listen to it all the time. And I was like, I want to see if there's any orchestras anywhere nearby in Europe playing it at any time while I'm here this summer. That would be so fun to go see. And so the Munich Philharmonic Orchestra is doing it on like this weekend. And so, I could drive to Munich. So, and I haven't been to Germany. So yeah. Okay. So I'll probably just find a hostel and go.
That sounds great. How far is the drive to Munich?
It's like, it's not super close, which is why like I could Flixbus it, but it would take like it would be like a 9-hour. I'm over Flixbus.
With Libby, which our podcast listeners don't know about, because that was in the episode that didn't record. So it's in the vault of things that will never be told again. Okay, well, that sounds like a fun adventure. Okay. Well, I think that's all for this week's episode. Do you want to do high point, low point?
Yes. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I had a lot of high points of.
I'll go ahead and go. I have a high point and a low point. The low point is my arm and my wrist, and just it's so hard to do stuff. I think I texted you and said, I hope I don't ever have to have an arm or a hand amputated because. It's so hard to do stuff, but anyway, it's a pain, it's annoying, but hopefully it'll be better in the long run. So I just have to.
Wait, Mom, do you have yellow nail polish on right now?
No, it's coastal sand.
Coastal sand. Okay, sorry, I thought it was yellow, and I was like, I've never seen you with that before.
No, I wouldn't wear yellow now. Neutral.
Yellow's
always
like
neutral.
Yellow's like the trendy color of the summer. So that's why I was about to say you're so trendy.
Can you imagine me wearing yellow? Absolutely not. That is a hard no for me.
I know, me too. I know. We have similar skin tones. I don't wear yellow either, but
No, absolutely
okay,
not.
I
would
offend you.
Yeah, no, definitely not yellow. And then my high point is this morning, our church has a maternity home, and one of our sweet residents of our maternity home got baptized this morning.
Oh,
And
wait,
so,
that's so sweet.
It's your friend from C20.
I was about to say, oh, wait, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I know. So it was
That's
just
so
really
sweet.
exciting to, just to see how the Lord is working and moving in the lives of these women that He's bringing to us at the Haven. So it was just really, really, it was very special. It was a very special morning. So that's kind of my high point.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Just praising the Lord for
So
that.
sweet. Yeah.
All right. Well, how about you?
It's hard to like pick a high point with Alexandra. I like either our beach coast day yesterday was really fun. I just was like swimming, in the Adriatic Sea, and I just like had this moment where I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm in Croatia, I'm swimming in the Adriatic, like what is my life?
Right.
And
You
I just was
texted me.
like,
You literally texted me like, Mom, I'm swimming in the Adriatic Sea.
yeah, I was like, if you had told me like this time last year, like next year, you'll be swimming in the Adriatic Sea because you'll have lived in Croatia for 3 months, I would be like, what are you talking about? But, well, maybe I would have believed you, because that sounds like something I would do. But I don't know. It's just so, it's so crazy. And I was just thanking God. So just really fun.
I love that.
Yeah, I think it's like important to, sometimes I have moments where I'm like, I'm really proud of myself because I have gotten myself here to where I am in Croatia. But then I have to check myself because yes, like I do work really hard and I'm really proud of myself for like what I have done to overcome a lot of things to get here to Croatia. But also that's all because of God. So I have to remember that that's not obviously because of myself and because I'm so cool and brave and strong. That's definitely not what it is at all. But
right. Yeah. And that's how that check in your spirit will keep us all from pridefulness, because it's very easy for all of us to get to that place where like, oh, I accomplished this and I did that and I worked so hard and did this, but we're brought back down really quickly when we acknowledge apart from the grace of God, you wouldn't be able to do any of that. And so I love that you remind yourself of that. It's good.
Not always. Sometimes I fail at reminding myself of it, but yeah.
But also
Yesterday
sometimes you have moments of extreme humility where things are really hard or maybe you're fearful or you're anxious. And then, that's also another way that the Lord reminds us like, hey, daughter, I'm in control. Let me be in control. Let me take care of the situation.
Okay.
Any low point?
No. Alexandra and I had a really uncomfortable awkward interaction yesterday at the coast, and that was awful. It was just weird. We literally got up and left a restaurant because the men there were making us so uncomfortable. Well, so we got to a patio and we got in the parking garage I'd found. Everything's great, but we really have to pee at this point because we didn't stop along the way because it's just that awkward, like a little over 2 hours, but we did have to pee really bad. We had to go to the bathroom really bad. And so we were just like, we also needed to get lunch. So we were like, the first restaurant place that like looks good that we come across, we'll sit down so that we can go to the bathroom. And because there aren't, again, we've talked about public bathrooms before, but if you are eating at a place, you can use our bathroom. So anyway, so we get there, there's not really anyone at this restaurant. It's just like a chill like grill place, like burgers, like that kind of food, so we're like, okay, whatever, there's not really anyone there, but it's fine, it looks like a place to eat, it looked normal. So we sit down and then I go to the bathroom. I come out of the bathroom, there's like 3 male wait staff in the restaurant part, and Alexandra was sitting outside on their little terrace patio. Like we had set our stuff down to sit out there. I come out of the bathroom, all 3 men turn to stare at me, do not stop staring as I'm walking back to the table. And then I sit down and Alexandra goes, this guy over here has been staring at me the entire time you were in the bathroom. And it was so weird. So then she gets up and she goes to the bathroom, her turn. And then she gets back and there's like, they've been staring at us the whole time, have not stopped staring, and I'm not being dramatic. And then the waiter comes over to us So rude. I have never, and I understand that wait staff in Europe, they're not as nice sometimes because they're not expecting your tip. Like tipping isn't as big a thing over here. So I understand that. But like so rude to us. He came over and he was like, "Are you ready to order?" And we had just been in the bathroom. Like I haven't even opened my menu yet. So I was like, "Can we get more time?" He goes, "What?" And I said, Can we just get more time to look at the menu?" And he goes, "Okay." And he walks away. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we like look at the menu and Alexandra's like, honestly, like I kind of want to leave. I don't like this. It just is feeling weird. But I felt bad. I was like, well, we use their bathroom. So anyway, so then he comes back over and he says like, "Are you ready to order?" And we kind of look at each other and we're like, we still want more time. Really, we're deciding on whether or not we're going to stay. But we're like, we want more time. He like glares at us, like the meanest look I've ever received from a guy I don't know, and walks away. Doesn't even respond to us and just walks away. Alexandra's like, "I don't want to stay here. This is awful. He's being mean to us." They're still staring at us, like not looking away. And so we got up and left. It was awful. We talked about it the rest of the day because it made us so mad.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was so weird. Well, I will say kudos to you guys for just following your instinct, and if something feels off, you just leave. That's definitely the right decision.
Yep. Well, and I looked up the place on Google Maps later. So many bad reviews about mean, rude wait staff. So I left a review too. And Alexandra was like, if something happens to us while we're here in this town, they will know who did it because your review was so bad. So if something ever happens to me, check my Google reviews, everyone.
Okay. Definitely. Wow. That is kind of a low point, but I'm glad you guys left. That was good. That was a good decision.
Yeah, it was
glad to hear that y'all are using wisdom. So,
yep.
Well, all right.
Sounds good.
All right.
Love you, Mom.
Love you. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.